How's it going?
I'm doing well. How about you, Andrew?
I've been better. Got a little bit of a head cold going on.
Yeah, it's your turn. That was me last week. I had a good chest cold, lost my voice. It's still a bit gravelly, but I think I'm good enough to do our podcast. A little late.
That's good. We'll both be a little gravelly today. So welcome everybody to Brothers in Smithing podcast.
Also known as the chat of the Marlboro Men.
Yeah. Today it is.
Not that either of us smoke.
No, we're two different Smiths. I'm a blacksmith, and do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Sorry, my name is. Hang on.
You got to introduce yourself before. I'm just a blacksmith. I have no name. I am the blacksmith.
That's what it says on my shirt. So my name is Andrew, and I am a blacksmith.
What? You're a blacksmith? I didn't know that.
I am.
Wow.
Yes.
My name is Kipling, and I'm a tinsmith, coppersmith. And as my nugget, I know you never do a nugget, but it's nice to give people a nugget. I like button-up shirts, which I'm wearing today. See, nice button-up shirt.
Ooh, I personally like wool. I love wool. No, I like wool clothing.
I just like wool. I like to rub wool on my cheek.
I have wool blankets on my bed. I have wool jackets. All good. If that's a nugget for you.
Oh, hey, you actually.
So what we're doing is we have known each other for far too long. We're not actual blood brothers, but we are chosen family for each other, and we like to challenge. Our friendship has always been based on sort of challenging each other or one-upping each other in things.
Silly competitions that were really, they're not important, but fun.
Yes. And we, in our respective smithing categories, started making things. And I think it started with a butterfly. I made one and Kipling made one. And we kind of said, well, mine's better. No, mine's better.
That was the rose. You have it.
Was it the rose?
It was the rose. And then the official first one was, we're doing butterflies.
Yeah. And we decided to put it out to the greater public on Instagram, all of our 13 followers at the time, and take votes from our family members who they thought was better. And we've officially done this 35 times now for over 3 years. Yeah. Over 3 years, man.
And just as a side note, I lost the first one, but that first butterfly I gave it to my mom. I can't remember if it was like a Mother's Day gift because Mother's Day is coming up, or if it was for her birthday, or just because. But it's hanging on the wall at home at my parents' place.
There you go. There you go.
Mother's Day nugget. Look at that.
We have done 35 challenges, and up until this recent one, we were very tied at 15 wins apiece and 4 ties. We actually have 4 official ties where we got the same amount of votes. And our intention with this podcast is to bring it out before the challenges are actually posted on Instagram so you can hear about our challenges. But Kipling over there got like laryngitis or something stuck in his throat, and he sounded worse than he does normally.
Worse. I was losing every third word. It would have been a very weird sounding podcast.
And then I got sick. So we're both sort of just coming out of this, and hopefully we can put this together today.
And we had some technical difficulties, so it was weird because the first podcast, the first recording went off very, very well, nice and smooth, and then the second one has just been a cluster bomb.
Batty fanged.
It was batty fanged. Yes, it was absolutely batty fanged. But to enjoy while doing the podcast, I can't speak tonight. I am drinking not Bud Light, but there is a Blood Light that is brewed in Toronto, and I saw it on there, and it made me laugh. And so just to share what I'm enjoying, I'm guessing you're drinking NyQuil or something like that.
No, I'm drinking a what do you call it?
I don't know. I'm not there.
A toddy, a hot toddy.
Oh, a hot toddy.
So, Yeah. A little lemon honey water with a shot of whiskey in it, and
There you go. Kill all those bacteria
that's right.
or
That's right.
viruses or whatever it is that's messing you up right now. All right. Well, a quick recap because the last podcast we were doing bookmarks, and just as a quick recap, I did take the bookmark one. I had the whimsical bookmark that was coming out of the back of the book. So it looked like a little I had a couple. I had the octopus tentacle and the elephant trunk and a mermaid tail. So that actually put us into tie for the number of wins overall. Whereas you had your inlay, which was beautiful, just not winning
Just
material.
not enough to push it past. Yeah. But I can't manage to break the tie. Because we have already posted our next one. We did mention on the last podcast our fairy doors, and we did post that one. And so I made a steel door with it was a very typical gnome fairy door with the pointed top and big smithed scrolled hinges. Excuse me, is what I'm trying to say. I even put a door knocker and forged a small door knocker and a small door handle for it, and blacksmith the hinges for it, so it had a very traditional irony type feel to it.
And I went for a little bit more non-traditional. Again, so I was looking around at fairy doors online, and again, they were all very much that kind of curved, pointy top, looks like a door, beautiful scrolled hinges sort of idea. So I went for a bit more outside the box, and I tried to use the classical elements of air, fire, water, and earth. And I did a set. I did 4 doors. Of course, I just chose one for the competition. Maybe I chose the wrong one for the competition because I spoiler alert, I did not win. I chose my earth door, which had a tree growing on the door, and it was actually out of the set the most traditionally shaped door. It just had a chased tree on it. The other ones, I had one that actually looked like it was actually the shape of the door was flames, but they're really cool. You can take a look at our Instagram pages if you want to see them. But I got beat.
Do you think that if you posted your fire door that the outcome would have been different, or do you have any?
I don't know. I was discussing it with my wife. And one thing I think, I'd have to really go back and look, but when one of us chooses to go traditional of whatever we're doing, or a traditional, imagery, and the other goes non-traditional, it's generally the traditional that wins, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And as we were talking, it makes sense because there's a reason why it's traditional. A lot of people like that thing. So maybe it wouldn't have mattered what I picked. Again, I'm very, very happy with my earth door that was a tree. I thought it was a fantastic one. And although I lost, I would like to point out that I've actually sold officially 2 of them. One of them was the earth door. The earth door went, and then it was actually the alternate water door, not the water door I posted. I had a second idea for a water door which had a cloud at the top and raindrops coming down over what looked like a wooden door. I actually sold them. So I only have so if my set now is only water, fire, and air. I'm gonna have to make earth again or something else. But it was fun. I really enjoyed doing the series. It's the first time that I have, instead of doing they're all this, if I've done more than one piece, they're the same, with a few variations, but they were all set the same style, where this was actually 4 pieces that were different but themed together. And so doing the series was a neat experience. I quite enjoyed it.
Which, on the other side of this, I did not enjoy it in the least. I had lots of troubles with the small hinges and trying to roll the barrel, which is this round part of the hinge, in such a small scale. We're talking 1/8 of an inch. Normally, on something like that, if you're hanging a door like we would go through, like people would go through, you're talking at like 3/8 or something like that, and it's pretty easy to get a pin that you can drive into that when it's hot. But at 1/8 inch, man, it was just... So I did not enjoy my door. And the other thing is it didn't come out the way I wanted it to. I wanted 2 hinges on it so it was nice and solid and like it would withstand a hurricane. But the hinge actually ended up to be so big that I only got 1 hinge on the door, and I thought it looked a little, I don't know, off-centered or something. So I would either try to scale the scrolls down a little bit on the hinge or make the door a little bit bigger, but we did have parameters on the door. So
that is true. So you're saying the hinge made you become unhinged?
Yes, I was very unhinged at the whole, and so much so I planned, like you, to make about 4 of these and have them at different places, some around my house and some at work and everything. And I just was like, nah, I'm not doing that anymore. It was very challenging.
But they were good. I enjoyed doing them. And again, like I know you didn't, and you're pretty much done unless your daughter decides that she needs another one, because I have heard that she has claimed the one that you've made.
She has commandeered it, yeah. That's for sure. Yeah.
But definitely something I'm going to make more of. I'm enjoying them, and they're kind of fun. You can come up with new ideas of what to chase into the door, and maybe I will make some traditional looking ones, just straight doors, and see if I could actually, not forge out scrolls, but I could I could actually cut things into scroll work to do some more traditional looking ones, or keep doing the fun ones. But all in all, I despite the loss, the fairy doors were a big win for me.
So you're thinking that this is actually going to become like a product to sell for you then?
Absolutely. Again, I won't make a whole pile right now, I don't think. I'd like to have, although I actually have a few other people who have requested them. I'm not sure how serious they are at this point. So, but I'd like to have maybe 5 or 6, so I can put 1 or 2 on the table, see if they move, and if they move, I can replenish them. And if they sell well, then I'll keep doing them. But again, I don't want to make like 20 and then have them not sell at all.
Do you think that you would sell them better? Like you had these quote unquote, and I'm using quote fingers here, the witchy markets. So your Wiccan and
they could do really well there. I think that is one of the places that they could do very well. And again, like we were talking about, like different markets and different markets that we go to are very, very different. Like last year, we ended up going to both a market at Lang Pioneer Village, which is where I actually did my training to become a tinsmith, and we did a market in Guelph. And the stuff, I'm not so sure about you, but for me, the stuff I sold was completely different, almost like no crossover. So it would be a kind of figuring out, okay, where do the fairy doors sell versus, and bring them to the appropriate market.
Or time of year too. I think like the fairy doors are potentially more of a summer spring thing as opposed to a fall winter.
Very much a good garden show, like along with like the dragonflies that we've done, and the wind chimes and stuff like that.
Could you create like a little? I'm just thinking about the, like, and I'm speaking out of turn here because you're more into this universe than I am, but like things like D&D and board games and stuff, and into that whole Wiccan type of thing, like containers to hold things like your dice or your players and stuff like that. Do you think that there would be a market for like a tin that would be in a specific shape, like a dragon or a dragon's egg, and you could open it up and there'd be your dice would be there or something?
Absolutely. I think there would be a market for it. It'd be a case of finding that market. That's the trick, right? Like it's, and again, I guess it comes down to like amount of time I'm putting into it, right? The fairy doors aren't too bad. I've discovered, like, as you do more, as we all know, the more you do something, the faster you get at, because you know the process, and and you tweak your tools. Because again, I made a new chasing tool specifically for the fairy doors, and the way it works when you're doing the door frame, which is what I have to do first, it actually makes it look like the brickwork very, very quickly. So it takes much less effort to do the finishing. But it's still like it's there's that time thing. So if I'm doing custom like dice holders and that, like, are you going to pay that much for a container to hold your dice? Because personally, like when I'm playing board games, I've got plastic bowls that I throw pieces in. I suppose I could make my own. But again, right place, right time, right person. Why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely going into my repertoire that will be at the table.
Mine will not be. And we actually sometimes we're chicken enough that we either go beside each other in these craft fairs or we share a table.
I love how we're chicken enough. I was like, no. We're brave enough to go beside each other. Right?
There you go. But it does allow us to talk during the markets, as well as if someone needs to go to the washroom and such. It gives us a little bit of a break. But I didn't want to have someone's buying my gnome door or fairy door, and you're like, "Ooh, have you seen mine?"
But that being said, when we are side by side and we're sharing a booth, we do have a live competition there.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So, because it's a fun way to bring people in. Just to you don't need to buy anything. You just come in and put your check mark over the one you like the best. And
until one of them sells, and then
but remember, we make that as a winning. If whoever sells it first, that is one out of the check marks in order to win. If you get enough check marks.
Yep. So you got anything else going on in the shop right now?
As far as projects, not a whole lot, commission wise. But again, I'm working. Not going to give it away, but we got a bigger challenge coming up for October. So I'm working on some stuff for that. So trying to get that done. And Mother's Day is on Sunday. And I made my wife a deal. I don't know how smart I was, but I told her that every Mother's Day I would make her a new metal flower, different flower species. So I've done calla lilies, I've done roses, I've done daffodils, I've done tiger lilies. I got a week. I kind of forgot about it a little bit this year. So
what are you going to do?
Yes, that's my answer on that. I think right now I'm leaning towards trying an orchid, like a small orchid.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought. But the other thing, again, both you and I, we met working in Ontario Parks as nature interpreters, and I have several actually plant guides that I can go and flip through. Ooh, I might try that. So I might do that. Tonight or tomorrow is flip through and take a look, but that's on my work pile there. Otherwise, just working for the next competition. What about you?
What about a nice trillium? Just 3 petals.
Yeah. I could do that. That'd be It's
tin
possible.
plate for the whatever, copper for the leaves.
Yeah. It'd be a good simple one. But as I said, I kind of like the feel of the orchid. And again, the idea is if I, as I do different flowers, it looks significantly different from other ones. They can become part of the repertoire of because I have sold calla lilies and I haven't done daffodils as well. Like the daffodils I did for my wife originally, they weren't my favorite as they turned out. They looked okay, but so I need to tweak that. But I like adding things to the table.
Fair enough.
But how about you? What are you working on?
I don't have much going on in the shop because I don't have a lot of time. It's in the season of hiring students this is just blacksmithing is a hobby sort of side hustle for me. So my other job is picking up and hiring summer students and all of those type of things. So I haven't had much time, but my one thing that I'm sort of working on, do I have it here? Oh, it is here. So I like dad jokes. I like being funny and humorous. So I have this big
Except you're
garage.
not.
Oh,
you like to be that way, but
yeah. So I have the big garage door spring, and I was going to try to make it into one of our challenges and everything like that. And I have in the past made Christmas trees out of springs and have that coiled sort of look to it. Well, this spring is not okay. Don't look at it.
It looks like a big metal turd. Like
Yes, yes. But okay, picture. Okay, ready? This. Okay, goes on here. Boop boop, like this.
Okay,
Okay, I have a
you do
chicken.
remember they are
I'm gonna.
listening, not
I'm gonna
seeing.
tell you. I'm telling you, and then I'll explain it to them.
Yeah.
So this is a metal cutout chicken head, okay, and it would go on the spring, and I would shape the spring into the body of the chicken with little feet on it, and you could put it in your garden, and it is a what is it, Kip?
A spring chicken.
A spring chicken. So I would like to try to see if I can make a couple spring chickens. I think that it would at least make me giggle and happy
There you
to
go.
put it in my garden in the spring. So that's the one side piece that I was playing with, and I have a couple that those because a garage door spring is quite long, so I think I could make like
Make a couple.
5 or 6 out of it.
People would have to understand that it's a spring. I'm not like that. That's only like some people will get it, and some people, which is the best part about a dad joke, right? Not everybody gets it, or some people just roll their eyes. But yeah, some spring chickens, very nice.
Put them out on the table with a label that says spring chicken.
You know what you do?
Last time
you need to make the chickens look old, and then underneath it says like, "I ain't no spring chicken," and then you got the double thing going, right?
I think trying to make it a spring look like a chicken is enough of a challenge for me. But last time we were talking in the shop, we were talking about issues and stuff, and one of the things that I had mentioned was my files and my like not paper files, but like metal files for doing work and rasping off pieces of metal, and the storage of these, because you're always grabbing for like the half round or the round and the different, a fine or a medium and such, and I always found I was grabbing the wrong one, and it was never easy. So I actually went out and bought those magnetic tool holders. I don't know if you've seen these things. They're basically a metal bar with a magnet in the middle, and you put something metal against it, ferrous against it, and it hangs up.
So you have a filing cabinet for your files?
Yes.
Or a filing strip, I guess.
Just above my bench, and so far I'm actually really digging it, because the files are soft or light enough that they hold up there quite well, and I have all of my popular ones right there, and if I need some...
You are the unpopular ones, we shun you.
They're over there. Yeah.
You're the rejects. I would be in the unpopular filing section.
There's things for like doing the bigger hot rasping and such. Like I have it's got to be 12, like those old Farrier rasps. You use that for hot rasping. It's not something I use down here all the time. So anyway, it has been working out, and I have a little
hot rasping is what I was last week.
Nice. Very well, very nice.
See, I would be in the reject pile. I'm well aware of my my popularity status has never been high.
I was supposed to be telling the dad jokes. What's with the jumping in on?
Hey, I'm a dad too, man.
True.
And my kids just rolled their eyes at me. What was it? I was telling them the. I realize I have some inappropriate jokes for that my kids can't hear yet, but I was telling them the chicken and the frog joke. I don't know if you're familiar with the chicken and the frog joke.
Is this the library one?
Yeah. Chicken goes into the library and says book, and librarian gives him 3 books, and long joke short, the librarian is
No, wait, tell the joke. If you're gonna do it, tell the joke.
Fine. So a chicken goes into a library and goes up to the counter and says book, and the librarian looks a bit confused, but gives the chicken 3 books. Chicken takes a book, comes back in about 15-20 minutes, returns the books and says book, and the librarian gives the chicken 4 books, and the chicken leaves with the books and comes back in about 15-20 minutes, returns the books and says book, and the librarian gives him the 5 books, but is really confused and intrigued at this point. So as the chicken leaves the librarian sneaks out behind him. And the chicken, goes down the street a little bit, and the librarian sneaks up behind it, and the chicken goes into a park, and the librarian sneaks behind it, hiding behind trees so it doesn't get seen, and the chicken gets down to the pond and meets up with a frog. And the chicken goes, book, 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 and shows the books to the frogs. And the frog goes, Reddit, 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 Reddit.
I hope it was worth it.
Oh, my kids thought it was hilarious.
Nice.
They liked that one. But, sorry, okay, tangents aside. You did a filing system for your files, very apropos. So mine was that, I didn't come up with any like amazing solve, but one of the issues I have, so I work in sheet metal. I work in my basement. And so I just had a bunch of sheet metal in my furnace room, leaned up against the wall. It's sitting on the concrete floor. It's not ideal. More oxidation happens on the bottoms. I'm not a big fan of it. So I finally got my button gear and got around to building myself a metal holding box. So, it's not anything like, I'm not a woodworker. I didn't get all fancy. I bought a bunch of plywood. And so the box, it's 4 feet long because generally the sheets of when I buy, whether it's copper sheets or whatever, I generally get it in 2 foot by 4 foot sections, or if it's bigger than that, I get it cut down that way because I can, it's easier to handle for me if it's that small. So it's 4 feet high, and there are 7 slots that run from top to bottom. They're each about, they're 2 by 4 apart, so 3.5 inches spacing. And then one side has 2 shelves on it, but the rest go all the way. And so I've got a slot for copper, a slot for brass, a slot for aluminum, a slot for galvanized steel, a slot for cold rolled steel, and a slot for tin plate. And so they're all up, takes up less space, up off the wall. So I actually finally got it set up today. I just finished off today. So that was really exciting. We'll see how it works out. But I think I'm going to be happy with it.
You should post a picture. I want to see it.
I will do that.
There you go.
But I will have to take a photo of it first. But that was exciting. But that was my little, mini shop hack. You work in your basement, little by slowly, you finally get around to, organizing the things that are annoying you. So
I got a question for you, though. We haven't chatted about. When I was up at your place last, you had got a new electric motor with a wire brush on it.
Yeah.
And we had talked about trying to mount it. And one of the things, so we both use it. I use it mainly for cleaning the scale off of when you put a piece of metal in the forge. It oxidizes quickly, and there's this scale that's on the outside. So I have a wire wheel on an electric motor that I just flip a switch in it, and then I can grind off but it's mounted like you would expect an electric motor to be, where it turns
vertically,
which means that if there are any wire bits that come out, you are in line with the wire bits that come out. And I was looking at some people online, and there's one guy who does it so it's horizontally. So it's not your face that's in line, it's just your chest, and you can always wear like a leather apron and stuff. Did you ever mount it?
I haven't mounted. It's still sitting on the bench because, again, it has to be wired in, and I don't want to go through the process of wiring it in if it's not where I want it to be. But again, you and I were talking during that conversation that when you were up here, I showed you my new drill press that I got from a friend of mine. Her father unfortunately passed away not that long ago. Had this really, really nice drill press. Didn't know what to do with it. Just wanted to get it out of. They were trying to sell the house, and she gave it to me.
Very jealous. Very jealous.
Yes, and I am very, very thankful. It's fantastic. I did have a smaller drill press, and then we were discussing, okay, what do I do with the small drill press? Do I just, see if somebody wants it, whatnot? And you were talking about that. And you were talking about the guy who just, so I have a small wire wheel that I have mounted horizontally in that drill press, and I changed the bands at the top to make sure it's on its highest revolution speed. And so I use that again to clean off some pieces, and it's working beautifully. So I think I will mount it horizontally. I do like the way it works. I just haven't 100% decided where this is where I want it to be, right? And it's not a case of like the drill press. I'm like, I'll put it here, see how this works out, and then I don't like it, I'll move it somewhere else. It's not that inconvenient when you're wiring it in.
Since mine's just mounted on a piece of plywood,
Yeah.
and then I've screwed that to my bench, I'm now contemplating creating a bracket and turning it horizontal, because I'm like, to try it,
It worked. It worked well. So, yep.
Yeah.
But Eggles. Esoteric Eggles. Now that everybody's confused.
Esoteric.
What is an esoteric Eggle, you would ask? That's what Andrew asks all the time. He has no idea what I'm talking about. And again, I can't remember how much of the history of the term esoteric Eggles we went into last time. We'll make it a short story. So back, beginning of internet days, back in the mid-90s. This is around 90. What? What are you laughing at?
I'm just like, I just picture like back in the midnight, before the time of internet.
Not before,
like
just after the time.
We were rubbing sticks together and sending
Yeah.
smoke signals.
But this is around 95, 96. When people were just starting to make websites, me and a friend, she and I decided we'll make our own website. And it was a random, I can't remember what the whole point of the whole thing is, but we decided to make a section of random miscellaneous information. Just, things that you didn't know, or a lot of people didn't, or like, example, a sneeze travels at 100 miles per hour. But we needed a title for it, so we called it the Esoteric Eggles. Eggles, as far as I know, doesn't mean anything. Someone can probably comment and tell me what actually an Eggle is, and I will stand corrected. But as far as I know, we just made that word up. And so we are going to keep the tradition alive. 30 years later. Holy.
Ooh.
Ouch. Now I feel old. Esoteric Eggles. Just random things about, generally about you and I. Last podcast, what was it? It was things that was up in your shop that had nothing to do with your work for inspiration. This week, it is your favorite utensil. Whether it is a cooking or eating utensil, I don't care. Your favorite utensil and why. On the spot, go. And the bang was me hitting my table because it seemed like a good idea. It's your turn. Go.
So, first thing that jumps in my mind is a cooking pair of tongs. And
damn.
I think you were there.
That was mine.
No, I think you're... But we went camping, and on the campsite was a pair of tongs hanging over the fire pit. And I don't know what was wrong with the tongs that I have at home, but this pair of tongs, it's not a small pair, it's not a long pair, it's not a heavy pair, it's not a light pair. It's just perfect. And when they are dirty and you go to grab a pair of tongs and I have to use another pair, I'm like, damn it. And I will wash the
pair that
my
like,
favorite the pair that I like, and so I will go with a pair of tongs that I punked off of a campsite from 20 years ago.
Yeah, no. Again, dating ourselves again. You stole mine. That's what I was going to be talking. So I will pick something else. So
wait, you're going to say the ones that you like do this?
No, just tongs in general. Actually, I've got a pair.
Oh, okay.
So that again, no one could see what your hand was doing. Again, podcast, audio, not visual.
That was for you, not for them.
I have. Well, that's true. I have just to clarify for everybody at home. I have a pair of tongs, barbecue tongs, that if you turn them upright, they will open. If you turn them, so that the clampy bit is pointing down, they'll lock closed, and so food doesn't slip out. But that's what he's referring to, and he was doing this weird hand gesture, which slightly dirty, but we're trying to keep this a clean show.
You knew exactly what I was talking about.
I did. Yeah, that's true. So I'll go for a second favorite, which I was surprised, utensil cooking that I have. It is an avocado masher.
What?
I know. And again, I personally I get annoyed by all this very, very silly, even one might say stupid kitchen gadgets. You can pick it up.
Gimmicky.
Very, very gimmicky. So my wife got this because she thought it was great. And it's an avocado masher, and it looks like a potato masher, except for it's smaller and the gaps are a lot smaller. So it's good for mashing up avocado, but it's also good for mashing anything. Which like a potato masher, just the spacing is so big between the wires. So I honestly use it to mash up banana if I'm making banana bread. Obviously, avocados. I use it to mash up black beans when we're doing quesadillas. All sorts of things. It's actually a shockingly useful tool. It's it comes out of the drawer on a regular basis. And I was surprised because when she got it, I rolled my eyes. And oh my Lord, it's just going to fill up my utensil because I do all the cooking. Like I do pretty much all the cooking. Not all. I won't say I'll do all the cooking. My wife does cook, but I do most of it. So like I'm very possessive. I like to say that it is our house, but it is my kitchen. And so it was one of those things. I'm like, oh, you're adding stuff to my kitchen, but it's awesome. I do really like it. So I will tip my hat to my wife. It was a good choice.
Do you know what it makes me think of? There was a Jeff Dunham, a comic who has the Jose jalapeno on a stick. He does a bit where he's stirring the guac, and this is the way we stir the guac. Isn't that what you make with avocado?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You might not, but
I have no idea.
You're a very meat and potato kind of guy. You get very upset when I break out the herbe de Provence. So.
Yes, I do. Seasoning salt is my edge of seasoning.
Yo, you're getting fancy, guys. It's not just salt now. Yeah,
it's seasoning salt.
Do you use the pink Himalayan rock salt?
No.
Yeah, no. I know that one sounds.
I do use kosher salt now.
Oh,
it is better salt than the iodized.
Iodized. Why is it better salt?
The crystals are. This is my opinion. The crystals are in a way that it allows you to taste the food, as opposed to the iodized salt that just kind of tastes like, I don't know,
iodized salt. Okay, good to know. I do use I use both kosher salt or pickling salt at the same time as I use iodized salt, depending on what I'm doing. Right? Because if you how we gotten into a cooking show at this point, I'm not exactly sure, but but if you use
utensils,
iodized salt,
angles.
There's more salt in a teaspoon or a tablespoon, whatever the measure. If you're putting a tablespoon of salt, that's not a salt. But there's more salt in a teaspoon of iodized salt than there is in a teaspoon of kosher salt.
Yes, there is.
So,
yes, there is.
Welcome to the Brothers and Smithing Cooking Show.
That should be our angle. You cooked anything good recently?
Oh, that could be next week's. What's your recipe? Oh, I like it. Maybe I like that one. That's a good one. All right. I guess we should.
So seeing that I'm ahead now. What do I have? I would
and
have
shoulders.
I would have.
You have a head and
16.
shoulders.
No. I have 16 wins to your 15 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Biggins. I was just wondering if you want to introduce our next challenge for it would be May.
May, yeah, I know. All right, so we were discussing this, and the original idea, or at least the original thought, was songbird. We were going to do something about songbirds. It's May. The migration's coming. We actually just had some white-crowned sparrows come through our bird feeder. It was quite nice to see them. Always looks like someone's just taken white out and put it on the top of their head.
Yep.
And then we're like, okay.
I saw an oriole today, just to throw it out there.
Ooh, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, okay, so if it's songbirds, what are we going to do that's songbirds? And after much deliberation, we decided on bookends. But I think we took the S off, so we just have to do one bookend. And we're thinking, here it is, so just so you know, if coming up, the image is going to have one bookend on each side, one his, one mine, with books in the middle. So that'll be the image, and then you can decide which bookend you like. And it has to be a songbird-themed bookend.
Now, we weren't sticking specifically to songbirds. We were just saying out of the waterfowl and stuff. Right?
Yeah, so it had to be something that most people think of. So we added, woodpeckers and hummingbirds and all those. But, no penguins, no ostriches, no hawks, no owls, no ducks.
Fair enough. Did you have an idea for yours yet? Or?
I do. It took me a while to come up with how to, because my material is thinner and floppier than yours. So I think I've got a way of the actual shape of the bookend part. I'm thinking woodpecker. That's kind of where I'm going with it right now. Um, yeah, so we'll see. And then I think I'm going to go a bit more minimalistic with this one. I think just with the idea because I don't want to chase it out one side too much because then it has to be say the right bookend opposed to it can't be reversible so it's fairly minimalistic. You can put it on either end. Because wouldn't that be hilarious if we both made the right bookend?
I think mine will be reversible. My thought for mine was a hummingbird, and the way I like to play with it now, I have a piece of clay in my hand.
Another piece of poop. Yes.
Another piece of poop.
You are showing a lot of poop over this video. Because this looks like lumpy poop. The other one was kind of spirally poop, and this is lumpy poop. Did you know there's a poop scale?
No.
you can grade your poop on a scale of 1 to 7 depending on its shape and consistency. There's actually a name for it.
I think you're spending too much time in the bathroom.
No, your wife was telling me about this poop scale. So
I see. So anyway, I like taking.
I don't want to talk about poop anymore, Kipling.
No, I like taking pieces of plasticine and taking a piece of making it about the size of my material that I'm going to start with, and seeing where I need to isolate material from. So what I have is something that's got the round in the middle, and then I flattened it with a tail and a head and the beak. So what I want to do is, if you picture the L of the book end, somehow suspend this hummingbird. So you have the heavy L with some metal scrolly stuff and whatever, and then the hummingbird is kind of looks like he's hovering in the middle of the bookend type of thing. That's my thought right now. There may be some flowers that I'm working with, and I'm gonna hopefully do some enamel stuff. I've tried to enamel some of the metal before, where you take some powder and you put it on and you heat it, and it actually makes it enamels. It makes a glass-like covering to the metal, and really vivid colors, a lot different than spray painting it.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you a good coloring, and it's nothing comes off it's it.
So that's my thought is this bunch of flowers like this. Kip can see them, but you guys can't, and I realize that. But to suspend a hummingbird so he's kind of out in no man's land.
I don't know. I think you should do some wild columbine. It's good, easy.
Actually, my kids were asking, what type of flower is that? And I was like, I don't know. It's a flower. I don't even know what color I'm going to do it yet. I'm going to have to look through what enamel I have, and it's going to be that color.
Those ones have a little bit of either phlox or dame's rocket. I don't know if you is it 4 or 5 petals?
4.
Oh, yeah, phlox, which is native. Always good. Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, yeah. So those will be fun. So those are coming up next month or this month, and because we're late on this one.
Yep.
But yeah, in a couple of weeks. So definitely
probably posted sometime around the 25th is what we're looking. 25th, 26th, something like that of May.
I think that's about right. Usually we try to record on
maybe the
Thursdays,
following Monday.
So
yeah.
So whatever that happens to be, yeah. So even actually, it might be even all the way to the 30th this month.
Oh yes.
So if we record,
but you can check our Instagrams is what we typically use. Although we do both have Facebook, but so my Instagram is Deer Run Forge, and Kipling's is Tapley Tinsmith. So you can look those up and follow along with all our competitions. And
yeah, you can see the old competitions and other things that we're doing. And apparently, I'll post my new metal organizing box thing. It's not.
You got to come up with a better name. You got to come up with a better name.
I know it's just not. It's not like a file, which is very fun of yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, shall we leave it there and say may the best person win? Which of course is me. We know this.
I don't know.
What, you don't know
have to
that
bring
I'm
your
not the best
woodpecker.
person? I've always been the best person. Actually, I'm usually the villain.
You are normally the villain.
I am usually the villain. So may the villain win, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
All right, you have a good night, sir. Feel better.
I'll talk to
Hopefully
you
we're
later.
not quite as gravelly next week.
Hopefully.
All right.
Later.
Cheers.